You know what makes me want to bash my head into my desk? The Promised Neverland. They had this amazing season 1 mystery horror, and then they butchered the fuck out of season 2 with some PowerPoint presentation, and oh my god, I was so disappointed. Now the slander for season 2 is rife, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But after that, I kind of felt like I didn't want to read or watch something like it again, because I felt like I was just going to be disappointed. But then one of my viewers, Batmeme, recommended me this manga called Shadow's House, and it's completely flipped my view. It's opened up that same feeling that I had when I first watched The Promised Neverland. Now Shadow's House is getting an anime this spring, so literally in, well, I don't know when this video will go up, but any day now. So I thought this was a perfect time to talk about Shadow's House and both the manga and what you can expect from the anime, because the trailer looks really promising, so I'm basically just hoping that this video ages well. Shadow's House is basically what The Promised Neverland could be if it didn't end up as a giant disappointment. So let me tell you what it's actually about. Shadow's House is basically about a family of faceless nobles who live in this gigantic mansion. And when I say faceless, what I mean is they're basically shadows. But because of the way they are, they emit a lot of soot and dirt from their bodies. So each of these shadows is attended to or represented by a living doll. These dolls will clean up after them and keep the mansion clean in general from all the soot and charcoal. And we follow the story of Emiliko. I don't even know how to pronounce her name, but I'm just going to call her Emily, as she basically tries to understand what her duties are as a representative of a shadow, and we sort of follow her adventures and her journey through the mansion. Now, as you can see, there's already some similarities between this and The Promised Neverland. It's a bunch of kids in a place that's probably not what it seems, but honestly, that's about where these similarities kind of end. I'm not trying to put this across as like a clone of The Promised Neverland. Shadow's House is a great thing in its own right, so I definitely think you shouldn't miss out on watching this anime this spring, because I feel like it's going to fly under the radar a bit. So with any good slice of life mystery, obviously the mansion and the shadows and everything going on isn't exactly what it seems, and you learn little bits here and there which make you kind of question what's going on. And for me, it's like a nice slow burn mystery. You get a little details. Some of the stuff can be predictable, but not all of the time. But it's a nice slow burning mystery where little bits are unraveled with every chapter, little bits more of information about the mansion or about the shadows or about what the living doll's actual role is. And in that sense, I kind of actually prefer it to The Promised Neverland. Although episode 1 of The Promised Neverland is fucking iconic because of that plot twist right at the end. After that, you kind of know what the house is. You know the kids are going to try and escape. And yeah, Shadow House does kind of lack in that department of when I watched The Promised Neverland, I had no idea what the fuck the kids were doing. They're like some genius kids. I didn't know what their plan was. I was just kind of following along and waiting to see what would happen. Obviously, there are some very tense moments in it, but in comparison, Shadow's House is a little bit more predictable, but I kind of like the pace of it and the pace of information that's revealed to you. There is a lot more slice of life elements, I feel, in Shadow's House with the cleaning and tasks that the Emily girl takes on. It's more comedy and slightly more upbeat, but the shift from comedy to horror or just a very intense scene is really well done. 1 second it can go from a very sprightly moment into something that makes me kind of fucking scared. So if you do watch the anime, be watching out for those. All of the characters and the side characters that are introduced are, I feel, very well written. Both of the main characters have this dynamic going on that, kind of foreshadows what will happen in the future, and they bounce off each other quite well. As for Emily's friends, or what I say friends, the other living dolls that she works with, they all sort of have their own stories going on, as all of them represent a different shadow and each shadow acts differently. So they have different behaviors and different information that Emily doesn't, and Emily has information that they don't. So they can kind of bounce off each other in the downtime between something going on, and normally these guys working together leads to some sort of revelation within the house. The plot isn't, absolutely crazy, but it's well executed, and I really like the sense of mystery that this manga gives you, and hopefully the anime will give you too. And if you do read the manga, the art is really fucking good, and I've been reading the scanlations, the official Viz translation of it, and it's in color. Like, the colored panels look really good and really nice. Also, reading the panels in color really adds to the atmosphere, and what I mean by this is, one, it helps you actually see the shadows better, and two, the color palette of the mansion makes you realize how creepy it is in comparison with the cutesy art style and colors of the characters. I think it's actually really great for the story, and it's why I'm looking forward to seeing this animated with that music and color palette to add to the atmosphere. And I seriously think this is going to be the hidden gem of spring, and I'm just praying this ages well. I find this manga makes you question everything that's going on in the house, and while you can pull together theories for yourself, it's really satisfying seeing shit get revealed to you. It's pretty brutal, it's got an amazing atmosphere, so keep an eye out for the anime, and if you like the anime when it comes out, even just a little bit, I definitely recommend reading the manga. That's all I really had to say. Sub if you want to be part of the gang, drink some water, have a great day, peace.